Guten Morgen. Today, we will be making a splash in swimwear. We have an incredible panel lined up for you. And I'm going to first kick off with a quick introduction on bodywear. So for those that have not ventured out to bodywear yet, we are on the far right, back of the hall, and we have a trend forum. So my company, London Contour Experts, team Tony and May, they're part of the Bodywear Collective. We are the curators of On Skin. So that's why we're here today. And we were tasked to shake up the base layer. So we've subdivided that into 5 categories. Shapewear, which is all about lifting and shifting and shaping that body. We have underwear, which is about accelerating circularity, because lingerie is not for sharing, right? And swimwear for everybody, so about pro-stretch garments. On-skin activewear, which celebrates high to low sports on skin. And then to kind of round up our categories, we have loungewear, which is our new category for bodywear, and it's all about 24-hour wardrobes. So feeling comfortable on the go. So what's new in bodywear? We were here for the first time in October, so this is our second time in. We have a trend book. This is powered by Performance Days. It celebrates the best fabrics on skin. So there's some incredible mills that are surrounding that area. If you look for the aqua and purple carpet, the back there. Our trend book is free to download, and hopefully gives you all some ideas on what to do with On Skin. LYCRA, we're lucky to have them. They're our headline sponsor. You can enjoy a free smoothie and check out the technology highlights in their innovation zone in bodywear for all things LYCRA. And we also have a designer playground next to that. So any designers that we have here, if you want to go and immerse yourself in creativity, we've got some fabulous books there from Concepts Paris. So you can go and get inspired with May over there. So main aim of our partnership with Performance Days is to inspire brands and retailers to innovate on skin with a purpose. So come and find me later, or one of the team will be over in Bodywear if you need any more information from us. But more importantly, it's panel time. So we're going to be having a bit of a Q&A at the end of our panel. So save all those fabulous questions for the end. So first off, we have Chris Williams from LYCRA. We also have Jake Howard from Bemis. And we have Thorsten from Coloro. So first question for Chris, really. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about LYCRA before we kick off.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Well, LYCRA's been around a long time. We've been making LYCRA for over 60 years. We're the first company to make LYCRA. It was invented many years ago by a company. We have global manufacture around the world, supplying the power industry. And we're heavily involved in swimwear. You know, we have very strong products supporting the swimwear business. We had some good products to provide the performance requirement and longevity requirement for swimwear. So we feel we're in a strong position there. And obviously, LYCRA goes into everything else. You know, that you can probably, most people in the audience may be wearing LYCRA now. So that's the LYCRA company.
Brilliant, thank you. So key challenges of your yarn technology in swimwear in particular?
Well, yeah, obviously, particularly ladies' swimwear tends to be knits, mainly knits, mainly warp knitting fabrics, typically a warp knit tricot, chameuse type fabric, typically nylon, 80% nylon-ish, 20% lycra content. It has a lot of work to do under challenging conditions, because the needs, the requirements of the consumer, it has to fit well, it has to look good, it has to make them look good also for shaping, good fit, but also be comfortable to wear. But it also has to perform under the severe conditions. In swimming, you have quite a severe environment of chlorinated swimming pool, which, and chlorine is not kind to elastane. It degrades very quickly. There's three key elements which actually attack the performance of elastane. It's the chlorine, sunlight, UV, and another element other people forget is oils, body oils, lotions. All those in combination accelerate the degradation, attack, and breakdown of elastanes.
We don't make it easy for ourselves, do we?
Certainly not. Obviously, once it starts losing its power, obviously the garment then starts sagging and bagging, and eventually breaks and it forms holes or see-through, which you don't want. So obviously, then you have to replace it. In the LYCRA company, we do have special products designed for swimwear, which provide improved resistance to that attack from the chlorine, from the body oils and UV. We call it LYCRA Extra Life, and it typically lasts like 10 times longer than standard elastane. And so that provides, one, more confidence, longevity of the garment, value for money. It's when you buy a garment, you want it to last. You don't want to keep replacing it, because obviously they cost money. Obviously, if you buy something that's going to last longer, it's better. One, better for your pocket, but also
Sounds
better
good already.
Exactly, and better for the environment, because you're not having to then reproduce a garment. Obviously, sustainability. Key part of sustainability is garment life, longer lasting. Yeah. So we have these products that provide that performance, longevity to help meet the demands of the swimwear market. Yeah.
So it leads me on to the second question, really, then. How does LYCRA adapt to the body shape?
Okay, so you talk about body shape. Obviously, many garments are sold by size. Yeah. So you can have small, medium, large, or it may be a number size. In Europe, you may have like a 40, 42 European size, or a 12 to 14 UK size. But people's bodies are not the same shape, or different shapes and sizes within that fit range. And so, obviously, comfort is key. Having a right fitting garment makes it comfortable. Yeah. But if you're the wrong shape within that, sometimes the fit is not right, and the consumer, not happy with it, returns the garment back to the store. And many the consumer buying behavior now is they're not trying on the garment before they buy it. So a lot of it is they don't want to try the garment in the store. Majority of now sales are online. You're not trying on the garment before you buy it. So you put it on. Most of the time may fit. Other shapes and sizes may not fit, so they're not satisfied and return the garment. Within the LYCRA company, we have, within the range, as part of the swimwear portfolio of products, we have something called LYCRA Adaptive, which is a softer stretch garment. It moves more freely with the body when you move, and that improves the comfort level. It's more fit forgiving and shape, body shape, size forgiving. So it gives a wider scope of within the fit range. So it enables a more comfortable and satisfied consumer when they buy the garment. So that's another improvement we brought to the market. Yeah.
So it doesn't solve the problem necessarily of one size fits all, but it allows a small body shape to fit and adapt, or the fabric to adapt to that body.
Yeah, I don't think you will ever have a one-size-fits-all because of the...
Shame, isn't it?
Because you have the garment will only stretch within the parameters of the construction of the fabric, the knitting loop. But you can reduce your SKUs, have rather than small, medium, large, have a small to medium or medium to large. But primarily, it's making sure the consumer's satisfied with the level of comfort and fit of the garment, really.
Amazing. And then last one from me. What is new from LYCRA that can help create waves in swimwear?
Well, in addition, and you probably see our stand at the bottom corner opposite the bodywear collection, we're promoting our bio-derived, which is, I presented this, I'm not sure how many people were here last October. I presented that last October, our new renewable resource of raw material for making lycra fiber, okay? And it uses renewable sort of corn starch to make the raw material that makes lycra fiber. We have added to that range the Extra Life version, so we can use that in swimwear. We actually have some fabrics on a stand which demonstrate that, some warp knit fabrics made by a very good partner mill of ours from Carle, also in the hall. They provided made some fabrics with our bio-derived Extra Life fabric, and it performs exactly the same as our standard Extra Life products. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
If there's any more questions for LYCRA, save all the good stuff for the end. Jake, tell us a little bit about Bemis.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming. So Bemis Associates, you may have heard of us. We're the leading adhesives manufacturer for the apparel market. And I think when we talk about the company as an adhesive company, it kind of undersells what we do. One of our biggest benefits is really just being innovative in the products we supply, but then the way that we work with brands and factories and the different constructions that we enable. So inherently in our product, we're replacing sewing in many cases. And when it relates to swimwear, that means lower profile seams, hems, and quicker drying. It can really help with the fit on body as well. So Bemis really focuses on how do we elevate the best brands in the world through new innovative constructions and products. And my background, I've worked on the technical side of the business, spent most of my time at Bemis was in Asia, working with factories, developing products, understanding the quality requirements of what is needed as we replace sewn constructions with more bonded constructions.
Wonderful. So key challenges in fit technology in swimwear. How does Bemis overcome them?
So we're able to build on a lot of other things that go into garments. So Chris is talking about the LYCRA fabrics and how those are so amazing for swimwear. We can be combined with those. We can use our technology to help with support. We can add structure. We can eliminate sewing and enable quick dry. And then we also have a wide range of different breathabilities, air permeabilities in our products. So there's really pretty unlimited ways, and we work very closely with designers and developers to understand exactly what their problems are so that we can solve those. But I think specifically when it comes to fit, we've got highly elastic products that stretch very well. Again, the one size fits all is going to be a challenge, but it definitely can help with the same thing of reducing the number of different sizes and then providing support in the areas where you need it.
I think we're here to speak about swimwear, but for anyone in bodywear across the board, EverFit technology is probably the key for Bemis right now. So can you tell us a little bit about EverFit?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the question. EverFit is our newest platform. They're our softest, most stretchable adhesives, and they come in many different forms. So we have films that can be cut into tapes. We have webs. We have net films. And we have many different thicknesses, which translate into different modulus, so different levels of support. We can use these products for hemming and seaming applications. We can use it for added support. We can increase durability. There are times when people may not feel comfortable with only a bonded seam, and in those cases, we actually really can still add a lot of value through taping over the sewn seams. And the benefit of that is it makes it more comfortable, eliminates chafe, and it also increases durability pretty dramatically.
So I'm going to ask that really silly question, which is, does the glue stretch to the fabric stretch modulus? So is there restrictions still in the glue, or does it stretch as far as the fabric will go? Because that was my first thought when I came to Bemis to look at EverFit.
Yeah, so it's a great question. I think whenever we're bonding, the adhesive fabric combination is what you get. And we basically have such a portfolio of products that you can have what you want. So if you want it to be limiting the stretch, which is something that designers are looking for in some cases, we can do that. If you want it to stretch with the fabric, then we can do that as well. So I think specifically, Nichole, you're basically asking, are we going to restrict the garment, right? And restrict the fabric? So the latest EverFit formulation that we've launched, it can stretch to 600% before any kind of deformation. So really, it's actually more restricted by the fabric. And when you combine the two together, you're not going to be restricted by the EverFit.
And for anybody that's kind of sitting here thinking about, I know it's swim again, but if you're thinking about using adhesives to restrict certain areas, you've worked on quite an interesting frame for sports bras that I've had a sneak peek in Paris that was really nice. So if you're curious to know how you can kind of restrict with adhesives versus allow that stretch with adhesives, I think you're kind of ticking boxes there.
Yeah, that's right.
Probably then last one is, what is new from Bemis? Have we covered it?
We may have covered it. What's new from Bemis is really our EverFit platform and the way that we're expanding that line to make it more easy to use. One of the challenges that we always come across is factories are very familiar with sewing. They've been doing it for years and years. Sewing has been around for 40,000 years, right? And now adhesives are starting to take some of that share for the functionality and the innovation it can bring. So when we first came out with our softest, highest snapback EverFit adhesive, one of the challenges that we heard from factories was it's difficult to apply. It takes too long. And so we've just launched another product with the express intent of making it much easier to apply at the factory. So yeah, that's a good one. And then we're always coming out with webs and net adhesives for more breathability. And the one that you mentioned is our ready-made components. So again, coming over the challenge of how do factories apply it if they don't have all of the knowledge, we make that very easy by doing a lot of the value-added component, and then it's a simple heat press application, or even a sew-in application in some cases.
I suppose, and for those designers that want to learn more about glue in general, you have adhesive prototyping centers, almost, you call it, labs.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's one in Portland, there's one that we're collaborating with in London. So if anyone's got any questions around applications, I think you call it an application center. Rob is your guy over here, might give us a wave, yeah. So yeah, I suppose there's an opportunity to help designers understand how to use it and apply it to their product, because it is very technical, but it could definitely advance what we're doing in industry. So it's game-changing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Good stuff. All right. Here we go. So, Thorsten.
Hello, everybody. Nice to be with you today.
Tell us a little bit about Coloro and what you're doing here today.
Yeah, Coloro is a leading color provider, and we are looking into the full process of actually selecting the colors, starting with the brands, with the design teams, communicating them through the own company, but also executing them to the supply chain. And yeah, we actually helping people to make it as seamless as possible. Because as most of you might know, with color, a lot of things can go wrong, and a lot of people don't know why that is. And we'll try to help with that and to learn how to improve their process.
So key challenges in color for swim.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Swim in itself, I think as Chris said correctly before, so there are so many components flying into that, to these products, about the light fastness, but also about, let's say, chlorine, seawater, all these elements are actually impacting swim a lot. And light fastness is a big issue as well when it comes to color, because swim is famous for their brilliant, deep colors as well. And the problem is, as more brilliant they are, as more critical they are potentially for light fastness. And you don't want to buy any product which is losing the color in the sunlight immediately, you know. So and that's really bad for the brands. And that's why we try to educate people and setting as well the right expectations, which colors are achievable and which ones are not. And I think there is a little challenge in the market on the brand side, but also on the supply chain side, that the design teams who are starting the color process, these are the first people who are actually thinking about the colors for the season with 1.5, 2 years in the future. But they're looking at it from a trend perspective. They just say, hey, I love that color. We need that brilliant color. We might need a fluorescent color if it's on trend. Yeah, but they're not maybe thinking about the challenges their other colleagues are overcoming in the material side, on the supply chain side. And then it comes to the suppliers itself. And sometimes the pressure is just given a step further down the line all the time. And then suppliers have to deliver on expectations, but maybe they don't have any chance to achieve the color under the specific requirements of a brand. And the swimwear requirements are really detailed and really sometimes really hard to achieve.
So how do you work with brands and retailers to break it down for anybody that's curious to learn more about color today?
Yes. Color, first of all, it has a lot to do with the creative side. So we are providing, from Coloro, we're providing a great color library with a logical color system to select the right colors. But we also have a big database, so we have dyed all our colors in different fibers, actually, and mainly in nylon, in polyester, in cotton, nylon spandex, cotton spandex, and so on, poly spandex. And every fiber has its own challenges, actually. And nylon is a specific one where, based on dye stuffs which are available globally, we're facing challenges there. Whoever, let's say, whoever have selected a turquoise color, a really deep one, knows what I'm talking about, you know? So there are color areas which are really, really hard to realize, or you can't get there at all. When do you find out in the process? Normally, when the suppliers are sending back bad lab tips, or you think, oh, no, that was not my color target, and then you are pushing them to do another round, another round, another round, losing a lot of time, creating a lot of cost, is not really sustainable at all, and maybe the supplier doesn't have any chance. So we have tried, actually we have a library of 3,500 colors, plus fluorescence, plus X additional colors in black and white. We have actually analyzed and we have created a database. We did real dyeing, real testing. So we can forecast if a brand team or design team is selecting a color, is that achievable across nylon spandex or across a material mix of polyester and nylon? Because you don't want metameric things to happen. You don't want the color to be off. If you have a combination of different fabrics, you don't want the color to be too much off. And of course, you don't want the color to have a light fastness of 1 to 2 or 2 even in swimwear. It's very important. So that's where we are actually dipping in and not waiting before the colors are being executed to the supply chain. We're bringing it to the front, to the design teams before they nail down the palette, and actually offering them an alternative color which would make the job across the fibers they need.
So would you say for brands and retailers and designers, it's cost saving in the long run because you've done a lot of the work in color? So it's a more efficient way of getting to market and speeding up the process.
Yeah, it's cost saving, of course, on the one hand side, but time is money as well. So I think the time saving, and if you have this information up front and don't find it out 3 months, 4 months later down the line, if you have lab tips back and forth, and then you might have to do a hard decision of let's say, oh, do we still want that color as it is because it's not meeting our requirements? And you say yes or no. If it's a no, you wasted a lot of time and you wasted a lot of energy in that color. And that's why we want to bring it to the start, actually, and so that people select the right colors at the right time and then execute the right colors and give the supply chain the chance to achieve these colors under these requirements.
So I know we're sitting here with a male-dominated panel, and we're talking about swimwear. But I think collectively, we could probably make a pretty good swimsuit together, right? With all the components in the mix.
Definitely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Before we open up for any questions, because I'm sure we've not covered it, one of the other areas in swimwear is seamless technology, so circular knits. I'm going to put Gillian on the spot here. Gillian, sorry about that. So Gillian's here from Teflon. And if you are curious to know how circular knit technology is being used in swim, maybe Gillian, you want to give us a wave because there's a few onlookers. She can tell you more about how Teflon are kind of pushing the boundaries in seamless circular knit swim. All right, one question. I don't know if Charles is still about. He was the host for the expert talks. Yep. He asked, there was a bit of a Q&A that went out on LinkedIn. And one of the questions was, is there any burning questions that we want to ask to the panel? So this will be our kickoff today. Charles's question was, are we expecting too much from swimwear materials? Fair point. We want our swimwear to retain elasticated recovery, last UV, and chlorine exposure, which we've all covered on the panel today, whilst remaining lightweight. Really, is it too much to ask? And do we have any solutions collectively to solve it? Thanks, Charles.
Can I actually change the question?
Oh, go on then.
I want to come back and I want to pick on Chris. Your opening comment, you struck gold. If there's one thing we all take away today, you describe sustainability as longevity. Full respect. Totally the right line of thought. I am very impressed. After that, I couldn't care about anyone else. You had someone say the magical words. Sorry, Jake. Sorry, Thorsten. Chris, you hit the gold mine. And if we can bring everyone to think that we need to love and care for garments, and the garments will return that love to you, whether it's the new glues, whether it's the better colouring. If that's what we learn as an audience, thank you. But Charles is filling, because I can't see any hands going up for questions. And this is the bit where you get to speak. We don't assemble a group like this and then let them off. You have wisdom. They have made more mistakes than anyone else, and they have learned from the mistakes. So does anyone want to pick their brain? You are very welcome to. Esther,
wow, come on, guys.
I'm going to come to Esther. Beware if Charles knows your name.
Good morning. So I'm into circularity for swimwear, and I'd love to know how each of the products is working towards that or has already achieved it.
Do you want me to answer that one?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, okay. So circularity, using our LYCRA elastane, we're looking at can we recover and recycle the elastane component in a blend, which is, we're working on that now. We have done pilot scale trials. We're on the right road. We're not there yet, but it's something we're invested in. We want to do. If you're looking at a pure elastane blend fabric, we want the fit, the stretch, recovery properties. Aside that, we also have a different LYCRA fiber as well, polyester based, which is like a T400. It doesn't give the same level of snapback, stretch, recovery. It gives, but it can give a reasonable fit, but in a polyester blend, it's 100% recyclable. It's made from renewable resources, recycled polyester, the T400 itself, end of life, it can be recycled. And also, we're talking about longevity, is chlorine resistant, so it doesn't wear out. So it keeps on performing. So you only want to throw it away or recycle it if you've had enough of it. You don't want to wear it anymore, So that's something, I know I'm not sure how many people were at the ITMA show in Milan 2 years ago. Carle, the warp knit machine manufacturer, in combination with Decathlon, had a swimwear garment on the stand made from our T400, and they actually then recycled it and made another polyester swimwear garment from the same material. So it is possible to be done. Is whether the level of stretch, recovery, fit is desired versus the standard elastified fabric. Yeah.
Does anyone else want to add to that?
May I just add something from the color side as well? Because I think the importance here is, especially for recycled materials, to accept limits, especially if you are dyeing them afterwards. It's also about the dye stuff. It's the fiber, but when it comes to dyeing, nylon is already as well not an easy fiber actually for dyeing in terms of the chemicals and so on. And then everything with nylon spandex, even harder. And recycled nylon or poly is really, really hard for the chemicals which are now being allowed to use. We have something coming up right now, bisphenols. Is this big discussion in the US right now. So California restricted using bisphenols in dye stuffs, in nylon dye stuffs already. And we're expecting that a lot of people are picking that up in Europe, in APAC and so on. So these are creating challenges. So we need to set the expectations right. What is achievable afterwards as well in terms of color? Because everybody wants, okay, recycled fiber, and then now we do a brilliant color. There are limitations, and we should recognize them and accept them as well.
Yeah, I've got something to add. So I think that the big challenge is the fibers, right? Having blended materials, it makes it very difficult to do circularity. When you think about swimwear, we're talking about women's swimwear in most cases, but think about men's swimwear. And I think we can kind of take some lessons from the outdoor industry. The fabrics that they are using don't require quite as much stretch, same as men's swimwear. So I guess what it makes me think is where we've been the most successful with circularity is where we are able to overcome those stretch challenges by looking at different types of materials or looking at different constructions that don't necessarily require as much stretch and recovery as what's traditionally needed in swimwear. So for example, using darts instead of having the fabric to be fully stretching to fit the shape. Thinking about those constructions and thinking outside the box a little bit, not just accepting that we need to meet the exact standards that we're currently expecting in swimwear. I think that is going to be one of the things that will help us accelerate.
And I suppose I can throw my 2 pennies worth in here, but so with the non-curator hat on, I have a business in London that produces, it's a matchmaking service really, if we call it that, for the suppliers and the brands and retailers. So we have a prototyping lab where we can put concepts together in order to improve speed to market, reduce the amount of sampling. So in essence, we are slower, but able to avoid, I suppose, causing too much trouble.
Nichole, can I point out what the old ice cream factory does for those people who have never visited? Because base layer or intimates or swimwear, whatever you want to call it, is so important on comfort, you can produce a garment that day that they can do the comfort wear, which is such progress on speed. That's what the old ice cream factory does.
So we work with LYCRA, for example, to create some prototypes for their customer in the same way that we do with Bemis. So it's realizing concepts, because in the end, that's who we're selling to. It's getting the concept to the consumer, isn't it? Yeah. Any other questions for us?
There are, but I'm just going to make a comment on what Chris said. I don't know how much the audience is aware. We talk a lot about polyamides, of which the most well-known ones are nylon 6 and nylon 6/6. We know there's a whole array of polyamides. People think polyester is just one thing. There are lots of polyesters. We've got to imagine there are as many polyesters as there are polyamides. So to have the stretchy is no surprise to a fabric geek, but to most people, they just think it's old plastic bottles. Yeah. But I do have a second question.
Hi. My question's for Jake. I was wondering, Nichole mentioned something about the sport bra bonding that you're working on. I'm just curious, is that something you would be able to put into a performance swimwear as well to help support, but also for comfort and ease as you're swimming?
Yeah, absolutely. Performance swimwear is probably where we've had a huge level of success. So if you look at any Olympics garments, Bemis is all over it. And so, yeah, some of the most famous Olympic swimwear and performance swimwear is using a lot of Bemis. And it's for support, it's for compression, and also just to make sure that there's a lot of comfort, the not chafing, and the athlete can be totally free of distractions. So yeah, we can talk more about details of that later on.
I'm still looking around for questions, because if not, I get to ask questions and they're slightly harder. So if no one's kicking off, can I ask your panel, Nichole? But I want you to start on this. What is the biggest hindrance? What's the blockage that is stopping us producing brilliant stuff? Is it materials? Is it techniques? Is it colouring? For you three, what bit of magic would make your life so much easier?
I think the biggest challenge is industry coming together to develop a product. I mean, we all work independently, so this is an opportunity with Performance Days to bring industry together to demonstrate and create something for brands and retailers and to make it easy to digest. So yeah, I mean, if we go back 10 years, we didn't have access to the sophistication of fabrics that we have today for swimwear and even the capabilities of what we can do. So I think the biggest thing for me is about creating opportunity to come together and allowing brands and retailers to, I suppose, make it easy to digest. So that would be the biggest magic, I think, needed, coming together and creating more concepts together for brands and retailers.
Absolutely, just bringing your know-how, pull that together to create something better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things is just mindset. I think having an open mind about new ideas, it can be difficult. And we've all seen the challenge, especially as we try to become more and more sustainable. The expectation is that we're going to have the same types of designs, the same types of performance, and everybody has these extremely high expectations, which they should have. But as we transition, we also need to think about what are some of the trade-offs that we need to make, and how can we shift our mindset to put prioritization, a heavier weight on the sustainability, the way that we're impacting the planet, and how can we set the expectations, change our mindset so that everything can fit. We still have high expectations, we still are getting what we need, but we're doing it in a way that is different.
Yeah, on my end, I think it's the lack of education and the lack of communication between the individual parts of a process. Because I think it's very close to your point of mindset, openness, and so on. Because I think we need to understand what the next person in line is facing, what are the challenges, and can I prepare better the next steps. Is as well the communication between supply chain and the brands, actually. So they should respect sometimes each other more and be more open to talk about challenges, to say, hey, no, that's not possible, allowing pushbacks and so on, because a lot of times it's a one-way communication, and I think that needs to change a little bit. So people should be open to learn more about the full process, and I think then it can become a much more efficient process and a better final product as well.
Nichole, do you realize that your panelists, by focusing that we need to cooperate, we need to communicate more, they've just volunteered for the panel at the next show? There is no getting away. You've talked yourself into it. Charles is filling, waiting for other questions. Otherwise, I get to throw another curveball, because I'm not letting them off stage until we get value for money. Especially to the three more techies, you're seeing other innovations applied to other areas of the apparel industry. What would you like to enable swimwear? So if I look at Bemis and I look at what you've been able to do in that we're almost welding garments together now. Are there aspects in other layers or other applications that you think we should jump on board with base layer, swimwear, next to skin contour? What have you seen and you've gone, I like that, how do I get it into this category?
Yeah, great question.
Brilliant question, Charles.
I'm a university lecturer for those people who don't know. We make people sweat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so we see a lot of different functionality that's built into performance wear and outerwear. I think that one of the things that we're working on trying to bring is just the ease of adoption of the product that can really enhance functionality. So it comes back to a platform where we've been pretty successful in providing components of different garments that then can be applied without having to do a huge educational platform across the world at different factories where the products are made. So I'm excited to bring some of those applications into swimwear. Some of it's more like the concept actually. It won't be the same application, but a concept of having a bonded pocket that can be applied without having the factory to do all of the cutting and assembly work. They can simply press it on and be assured of the quality. So looking at applications that could be in swimwear that may benefit from that concept, that's one of the things that I would love to bring.
You know that I'm looking now at you, Chris. I'm not letting you go quiet
Tried
on
to
this.
swerve that one.
Okay.
I know their techie department does some amazing things. I don't know how much he's allowed to say about them.
Well, obviously we do have, we displayed it on our stand on the Bodywear Collective. We have FitSense, like a FitSense, which is the printable lycra, yeah, where you can have print-on design and have targeted compression on areas of the garment, yeah? So I think that could be interesting in swimwear, to have different levels of compression, shaping, for example, as opposed to having to like do extra sewing or panels. You just apply, you have a very standard basic swimwear fabric, and where you need the increased compression, you just print on the dispersion of lycra fiber onto the surface of the garment. It gives you the
cheaper, faster, more secure.
Yeah, it's more versatile, exactly, yeah. And it can be quite unique because you can create any designs. You know, the design itself is an attribute, but also that design also has a function. It has increased compression as well. So you add color to it and make it design features. So it opens a whole range of different opportunities, really. You know, we use it in intimate apparel for shapewear, for example. But there's no reason why it can't be used in swimwear as well.
Yeah, just again, I just can speak to that from a color perspective, as you guys are more experts on the fabric side, of course. Thank you.
Demonstration with James here, starting at 10:30 a.m. at the Tech Hub in Hall C4.
Thanks. Good. Yeah, just what I can say on that one is that the activewear or performance wear and the outdoor industry, based on our experience on color, is a little bit more advanced than the other industries. And I think looking inside these companies a little bit more, how they dealing, how they have set up their process and so on, how they doing digital color management would be a good thing, actually, because they can learn from it and they can streamline their processes as well. And we are thinking already about a few exchange programs, and so that people are just going into other companies and just to learn, yeah. So like just a switching program of people, of experts, but we need the companies to be open about that. So we've seen something happening behind the scenes already, sending people around. I know some of them, Adidas did it in the old days. They did an exchange with Lufthansa, with Apple, with Adidas. Really, it's that way, and they send around the experts, so they learn from each other, and everybody was happy. So we created a win-win situation on that side, and I think that might be something which could be cool as well.
I think what I'm hearing is it's important for workshopping, or at least trying to prove these concepts at a technical level to then a creative. So if anyone is curious and wants to learn more about collectively what's possible, we're all over in bodywear, so come and find us.
If you don't know where bodywear is, turn around the top right-hand corner. You can't miss it. It's interesting. But I'm still looking for questions, but we've almost filled our time.
Yeah.
Can I ask the audience, please, to show your appreciation for those people on stage?
Thank you.